What are you afraid of?
Oh, so many things. You mean today?
I mean, the dark, the boogeyman.
My calendar not syncing and not being in this place where I'm supposed to be.
Is that the big one?
Someone stealing my cell phone number, and then I have to deal with the multi-factor authentication, and I can't get into our banking. Like these are the big things.
Those would be big things. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I get that. It's not public speaking.
No, I don't think so.
No, there's many comedians that have talked about public speaking. Like it is a greater fear than death for so many people. They list it as their number one fear, meaning like.
No, I think no.
Yeah, no, I enjoy the public speaking.
I can deal with it.
A lot of comedians have said you're better off in the coffin than delivering the eulogy.
I agree.
Yeah. This is not about public speaking, though. No. This is 100% about fear in business. And I'm afraid it's time to start the episode.
Oh, boy.
She's the CEO.
He's the marketing and operations guy.
If it's broken, you need
the business fix.
I have a crazy question for you.
Yeah.
When you were a little kid.
Yes.
What were you afraid of?
Everything.
Same.
Everything. Gave myself an ulcer in 3rd grade. Afraid of everything.
Wow. I think that's the episode.
Yeah.
No, what like, is there one specific thing that you remember as a standout as a kid?
I was the world ending.
Really?
Yes.
Did you know how?
Yes, because I grew up Southern Baptist, so I was terrified of the world ending.
Oh,
so
yeah, makes sense.
I had a lot of deep-seated religious fear I've had to work through as an adult.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That was not a problem for me.
No? What was your fear?
The dark. To this day, do not like the dark.
Okay.
There's been some things where they appear over my shoulder, and I'm like, nope, not a fan. It makes motorcycle riding at night interesting.
Yeah.
See a lot of stuff. Hopefully we don't see any of this in our business.
Oh boy.
I think we always start with something personal, so I thought I'd go really personal.
It's really deep.
Really deep.
Talk about our childhood trauma right now.
Let's talk about childhood issues and then get everyone crying, and then fear in your business seems like nothing. There's many forms that fear in your business can come in. Wrong hire, fear of losing a big client.
Yeah.
I know people, they have a fear of losing their only client. The biggest problem with fear isn't that it exists. It is the fact that fear can make you make some bad decisions without even knowing it. Let's shine some light on the dark.
Okay.
No.
No.
When I think about fear in business, like what are some, you deal with people a lot.
Yes. I love people.
Nope, not saying it.
Don't say it.
What are some of your people related fears?
So there's several. I think that's fears
I would hope so. I would think so.
I would say they're fears that business leaders have a lot of, and we kind of work on overcoming them. So the first is, that fear of making a bad hire. So hiring is one of the most emotionally loaded decisions a leader makes.
Every single time.
Because when it goes wrong, that ripple effect is really real.
Yep.
And there's always that, did I make the right decision? What if I don't make the right decision? And we think that it's, again, set in stone. So leaders fear hiring the wrong person because they've lived through the impact in the past. Lost time, lost trust, team drama.
Not to mention the guilt that often comes when you're like, I hired the wrong person and now this person's got to suffer a bit.
And it's okay to say, like, it's the wrong fit. Let's just move on.
Yep.
Like the best thing that you can do oftentimes for people is to exit them to a new opportunity. But we get stuck in that fear. And that fear can paralyze decision-making, or it causes leaders to settle for the safe. Like, you know what? The devil I know versus the devil I don't know. So it's better. We'll just deal with the employee that's kind of here, but not great. I mean, so instead of being strategic, you're just living your life as a hostage and paying people to be. Why do you pay hostages? We don't pay hostages. Like, just stop.
No, you're the hostage.
No. Or we treat hiring like last call at the bar. So we hire in panic mode. Like, it's last call. I don't want to go home by myself. So I'm just going to pick somebody.
Most people hire that way.
Yeah. And instead of doing, when we hire in panic mode, We're not in our values. So go back to your values. You hire slow, you hire for alignment, you create a system that helps you choose with confidence. If you don't know how to choose with confidence or you don't know how to hire somebody, I encourage you to find someone who can help you hire people. Usually a fractional HR consultant, shameless plug, can help you do those types of things, teach you how to do them right. So there's that fear of like making the wrong hire. But then I think there's even a bigger fear that business owners have, and that is the fear of a key employee leaving. So when someone you trust becomes mission critical, it's easy to fall into a place of quiet panic about losing them. It's also easy to tolerate really bad behavior or bad performance because you're afraid, well, what happens if they leave and then I have to do all the work? Or what happens if they leave and I have to find somebody else to do the work? It's okay. You can deal with it. So leaders worry about what happens if that person walks away, especially in small teams where one departure can create a big gap. Yeah. I mean, and there are times where you say, don't run your organization so lean that if something breaks, you can't fix it. But the other part is, there is capacity constraints. I mean, there are times where, not everybody can afford to have 3 employees that make $100,000 a year. So if you've got a key performer or you've got a key part of the organization, how do you shore some of that up? So building a culture where people want to stay is really important. That kind of helps us belay that fear. Designing a system that doesn't depend on them staying, where you can bring other people in. We have these processes written down. We know what we need to do to be able to move the business forward. Knowledge sharing, cross-training, open communication reduces that power that fear has over your leadership. And then you start to dissipate that. Well, you know what? If that person leaves, we're going to find someone else to do the work. We are not going to go under simply because one person is gone. Now, I will say this. If that person runs your entire business and you don't know how your business runs, that may be a reason to fear. But we can solve that problem.
Right. If you have that fear, you need to work on eliminating
that fear. So, and then another one I would say is fear of culture changing as you grow. So this is one of those sneakiest fears because I feel like it's just happening in the background, but it shapes everything that you do. So as businesses grow, founders often fear losing that intimacy, flexibility, or values that made the company special. They fear, culture drift. And you have to remember that culture doesn't really drift. It evolves by design or neglect. There's no such thing as drift.
I was about to say that I love how you put that. It's either design or neglect. It's
one or the other.
Right. You're either nurturing this or it's going to die.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, growth doesn't have to mean dilution of your culture. No, it just means being crystal clear about who you are and making sure that your values show up in your hiring and they show up in feedback and they show up in decision making. How you align your values and how you parrot those values to everyone within your organization is really key in making sure that your culture doesn't evolve by neglect. It has to evolve by design.
I think, I love your point about growth doesn't have to mean dilution. To me, if you're growing, that should actually be something that strengthens your culture. Yes. Because as you have more people, it takes, I don't want to say one bad apple can spoil the better part of the bunch. But if you've got one bad apple in 100, or if you've got one bad apple in 10, it's a very different effect.
Yeah. Well, and looking at it as a stronger weave in your fabric.
Yes.
That's really how this is. As you add people, you're strengthening the fabric of your organization. So finding the right people, the right threads that can kind of put your organization together is important. And I'll say one more point about fear is really how vision and values help you navigate fear.
I agree.
So it's not just about I've got the fears of all these things. So for me, this is a Chrissy thing. Every time.
Are these going to be Chrissyisms?
This is Chrissy's experience. So every time I've led through fear, and really it's more for me about uncertainty, when I've led through fear well, it's because I've anchored in our why. And when I've led through fear in a not so great way, it's because I haven't anchored in the why.
Sure.
So fear's loud. It's really loud. And vision is quiet and it's steady. And that's why leaders have to practice anchoring back into purpose.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes total sense. It's interesting. I see something that in so much of business owners' fear, we lose a key person. Can you recover from that? Yes, as long as you set yourself up for it. Yeah. I mean, even if you haven't set yourself up particularly well,
you're going to figure it out.
you're going to figure it out.
You don't have a choice.
When it comes to fear, Alex Honnold said something great about this. He was the first person to climb El Cap, which is like a 2,700-foot vertical wall, free solo, no ropes, no nothing. He was talking on a podcast and he goes, I see people in airports that they've missed their flight and they're having an absolute meltdown.
Yes.
He goes, you would think they are dying.
Yeah.
And he goes, they have this fear because they haven't experienced real fear.
Yeah.
He goes, I mean, most people aren't in dangerous situations.
No.
There's some, but most of us that are living in suburbia are not in dangerous situations every day.
Rarely.
Right. So he's like, look, that lack of fear in their daily lives means your tolerance for fear gets jacked all out of whack.
Yeah.
And so now something slightly goes wrong, fear kicks in and they just go nuts.
Yeah.
He goes, it's that ability to look at fear and say, what actually is the danger?
Yeah.
What are the results of this? Because I know, and I guarantee you and I have both done this. I know I have, where you start thinking about the worst thing that's going to happen when you do this. And then it happens and you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess we got through that.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. Did it suck? Yes.
Did we figure it out as we walked through the situation? Yes.
Yeah. Was it convenient? No. Was it what I wanted? No. But should I have feared it? No.
Yeah.
Did I not want it? Correct. Was it undesirable? Correct. But should I have been like hiding in the corner and making my decisions because of this hypothetical thing that could happen to us? No. Just do what you can to put the right things in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The thing that I find is so many people have a fear of failure.
Yes.
You always say as a recovering perfectionist.
Yes.
I believe you've had this fear. Perhaps?
Perhaps an intense fear of failure, to the point now that we talk about failing fast. So fail fast, first attempt in learning. Fast is fueling agility, speed, and tenacity. So really looking at it as this is in some of the different assessments I've done, some of the learning that I've done.
Some of the courses?
The courses I've taken since we talked about professional development, they've talked about, I learn best through failure. And I'm like, are you kidding me? There's a lot of F words that came after that. Like failure is actually what fuels you forward. That's where you are your best is when, granted, I wrote a book called Reluctantly Resilient, which is all about, failure. But it's the learning and the perspective of moving. So that fear of failure, my gosh, that's why I had an ulcer in third grade. It was that constant, something's going to happen. So yeah, let's talk about, those common fears that you see business owners deal with. What are those things, Josh? We talk about failure, but what are some of those other ones?
The fear of failure is one. And what most people don't realize is that it's not that bad.
Yeah. It's not. Generally, you don't die.
Right. As long as you don't die, no one else noticed. No one else cared.
Correct. People really don't care as much as you think they do. We just had this conversation with our daughter who's a senior in high school. And she's like, but what is everyone? We're like, Maddie, people really don't give a crap.
No.
We love you. We give a crap, but most people don't.
Right. No one else cares as much as you do.
Yeah.
The other thing is there's people that have this fear of losing control. I've seen this in so many businesses.
Yes.
When it comes to empowering people and making decisions.
I have to be the most important person.
Oh God, I don't want to be the most important person anymore.
Never.
I want my people to be important. You talked a little bit about it. Like what happens if this key person leaves? You'll find someone else.
You will.
Will it be inconvenient in the meantime? Yeah.
Yeah. And chances are if you built the business, you can deal with it.
Exactly. The other piece to that is imagine that, I listened to some podcasts. Strange. We have some people look at fear of losing control. It was a philosophical side that this thing just hit me right upside the head. We have control over absolutely nothing.
Correct.
We have influence over a lot of things, especially as business owners. We have a high level of influence. Mm-hmm. We do not have control.
No.
If you have a key employee and someone like they're happy, they're wonderful, you're like, this is great. They're like, hey, I love working with you. And someone down the street comes in and says, hey, I am going to pay them 3 times the amount. Yep. Guess what? They're gone.
Correct.
You have zero control over that. Don't fear it. Do what you can to influence it.
Correct.
But don't fear it. It's the one thing that I see. And the problem is people make these decisions out of fear. Like, I don't want to lose control. You don't have control.
You don't have control.
You never had it. It's just not there. It's an illusion. It is something that you have made in your head. Correct. You have a high level of influence. If you want to keep your high level of influence, do the things that help you keep your high level of influence. Operating on fear is the number one thing that will make you look weak and will be the number one thing that will push people away. Yeah. It is the same story of the guy that smothers the girl and follows her everywhere because he's worried about something bad happening, or he's worried about, I'm not good enough or whatever. Don't show people that you aren't good enough. Show them that you are.
Yeah.
Huge thing with that. And that is really my biggest point with fear, is when people let it take the wheel instead of logic and reason. What is the worst thing that happens? And not only just what is the worst thing that happens, what is the actual probability that will happen? When you look at that, the worst thing, we all go to it. The probability of that worst thing is pretty slim.
Yeah.
I'll use motorcycles as an example. My parents hate the fact that I have a motorcycle. I have about 100,000 miles on motorcycles. They think every mile I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened 100,000 times. Now, granted, it may happen someday.
Yeah.
But the likelihood is pretty darn low. Am I going to do something stupid on the motorcycle? Yes.
Potentially.
Potentially. Likelihood of that is probably pretty high. But in the same sense, in terms of worst case scenarios and putting myself in worst case scenario situations, no, I don't do that.
Yeah.
It's not out of fear. It's because of I'm trying to influence where I am at. When people get this fear of success, it's one of those things that my brain doesn't, I don't know how people get that.
Okay.
I don't know where it comes from. So I guess what I would like to ask, how does that show up? What happens with that?
Yeah, good question. So it's what happens if things actually go well?
Yeah.
Yeah. So fear of success, and this is interesting, it often shows up, and again, some of the work that I've done, it shows up as overthinking, it shows up as delaying, quietly shrinking, or the momentum. Just as momentum starts to build, we start to shrink. And in part, that's because you're moving into a space that you've never been before, and it feels uncomfortable.
I can see that.
The vibration of who you are right now is safe. So sure. I'm Chrissy in this business right now. I'm Chrissy in this leadership role, or I'm Chrissy in this role in the community. This feels safe. Chrissy's been called to do something bigger. Well, that's what happens if it doesn't go well? What happens if it's fear? And you may be asking to do this. You may be naturally moving towards that, but we will shrink ourselves because we often fear.
That makes sense.
Higher level of success, higher level of accountability, it feels different. It's a different vibration. So, sometimes people worry about being more visible, more responsible. What means, well, if I have to take care of more people, what if I let them down? I'm okay to be in this level. I'm safe here. I can take care of them. Fear can really keep us stuck. And I think that's something that we have to deal with, especially with managers, middle managers in a business.
Sure.
Well, I've never led 10 people. I've only led this project. Okay, well, maybe that's a indication that we need some additional professional development. Maybe we need some additional skill set. But the other part is, coaching and pushing people, because, success requires expansion. So expansion is always going to feel uncomfortable at first because it's getting bigger. That's why when people are like, oh, I've dealt with this room and I'm okay with this. Everybody knows me. Wait, I have to go over here and I'm only going to know 10 people instead of 100 people. I don't want to do that. And, here's where I will say, and I don't know if we're going to agree or disagree. If somebody doesn't want to grow, it's okay. Like you don't have, I'm not going to grow, damn it. I'm not going to force somebody to do something that they're really not comfortable with. However, for me, I am going to force myself to do things because I know that I need to keep moving forward. And that's how I'm going to continue to ascend. But you cannot force people's ascension.
No. And I also realize too that there is a certain skill level that people want to get to, and there's a certain aspiration that they want to get to. They don't want to push past that. And that is okay.
Yeah.
100%. There's healthy fear.
There caution.
There is a reason why as humans, we're alive. Fear is kind of this evolutionary thing. If you look at rabbits, they're prey animals. They are scared of damn near everything, and they should be. That is what has allowed rabbits to survive. Where do you see healthy and unhealthy fear?
Is it not all fear is bad? I mean, I agree with you. Not all fear is bad. Sometimes it's wisdom whispering. Other times...
Wisdom whispering?
Wisdom whispering. Sometimes fear is wisdom whispering. Other times it's trauma screaming. It is. Is wisdom whispering to you or is trauma screaming at you? So I think...
I love that.
It's all the professional development I do. This is what you get from me. I too can be a Hallmark card.
I was about to say I'm usually the ones with the sayings like that.
No.
Boy, you're out of the.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
I should just leave.
So here's what I'll tell you: healthy fear, caution. You get caution from healthy fear.
Sure.
You get planning from healthy fear. You get humility.
100%.
From healthy fear.
Yes.
And that is good.
Yes.
It's okay to have a little bit of fear. All right. It slows you down just enough to think before you leap.
Yep.
And potentially also drag everybody else with you. I will say that. Fear probably keeps me a little bit more rooted to not drag people kicking and screaming. But there's paralyzing fear. And that's something that there are times where I have struggled with this. And there are times I still struggle with this. So paralyzing fear, it keeps you frozen even when you've got clarity available. Even when you've got the ability to think through, it feeds on perfectionism, it feeds on pressure, it feeds on self-doubt. And that's really what keeps us from moving into a bigger room. All right. So the key to recognizing the type of fear is the source. So are you being thoughtful? Is your fear thoughtful or is your fear avoidant? Those are the questions you need to ask yourself. That's a great question. Yeah. And so for me, being able to answer that question helps separate the two. And that clarity usually comes through action, not more waiting. It's what do I need to do to move past this? Is this something why am I fearful? Am I fearful because I haven't done this before? Am I fearful because there is a legitimate risk that could be extremely detrimental? Or is there risk that it could just be a little bit of ego bruising? As in if I fail, who's going to be watching me?
Are the other kids going to make fun of me?
Exactly. Are the other kids? Well, you said you were going to do this and you decided to do that. Like a great example for me, for a long time, I would have fear because it was, if I change my mind and I don't want to do it, then I failed. And it's like, no. Changing your mind, pivoting, moving in a different direction is not failure. No. It's just decision making.
Correct.
And so, having, taking on a third generation family business, so purchasing that, transitioning it, doing a startup, and then taking a startup, restructuring it out of receivership. That was another company that I dealt with in Texas. There are lots of lessons from things that I've never done before. Moving in different rooms, dealing with different types of levels of individuals, whether it's investors, whether it's government regulatory bodies. How do you kind of work through those things? And so for me, it's also asking those questions. What am I doing? Am I being thoughtful or am I being avoidant of something? And I think for me now, more of the fear that I deal with and I don't want to do that. I'm not doing that. It's probably a better way to say, I will say I'm not doing that. And it's wait a second. I'm being avoidant, not because it's not the right decision, but because it feels uncomfortable and it's going to require me to be a different person. I have to grow to be that person to be able to truly make that decision.
It's funny. I have a very different way of looking at it. I am a probabilities person.
Nice.
And it's also how I look at people.
Yeah.
If someone does these 3 things, there is a pretty high probability that they're going to do the 4th. If they do these 5 things, there's a medium probability that they'll do the 6th. It's from looking at patterns and things, looking at people, looking at stuff like that. I do the same thing when it comes to fear.
Yeah.
So I look at, once again, is this a high probability of happening? And when it's the big thing, I'm like, well, typically no.
Yeah.
The growth piece I can understand is how that's uncomfortable, because it's like every network, like when you go to a new networking group, it's that same fear. I mean,
everyone's going to hate me.
Right. We both walk into a room and we're both like, hi, we can talk to anyone. That does not mean I didn't sit in the car for 2 minutes going, okay, you got this.
No.
You got this.
Sit with your hands like this.
You got
it's like
this.
power pose, power pose, power pose. You can do it. You done that?
Do you think I've done that?
I do. My people know when I'm walking through the office and I've got my hands up, they're like, oh crap, she's got to have a difficult conversation.
Yeah.
It works.
I do not have the power pose.
Put your hands on your head. It's pulling your hands above your heart. So it's like, it's specifically like, it's a great quick trick to put you in a better state.
Interesting. I'll try it sometime.
Yeah, we'll have a conversation about state. I'm sure you'll be like, oh crap, she's done all that personal development stuff.
For me, once again, though, it really comes back to that probability.
Yeah.
Like, what is the probability that this is going to happen?
Yeah.
It's low. What is the probability this is going to happen? Well, this is medium. And I mean, it doesn't need to be direct numbers. It's just have an idea and take the time to put that type of stuff into perspective. If you put it into perspective, suddenly the fear winds itself out and you can be like, okay, there is a low likelihood of things happening to me here. If you find that that doesn't wind the fear out, you need to look at 2 things. You need to look at, am I stuck in an emotional state and just not able to calculate this? Or is this something that actually is a concern?
Yeah.
You need to set it down, don't do anything with it, and come back and relook at it later.
Yeah. Do you know who Tim Ferriss is?
I know the name.
So Tim Ferriss, I mean, like OG podcaster at some point, like he hasn't, but wrote the 4-Hour Workweek. He does a TED Talk about reverse engineering fear.
Oh,
and
okay.
really some very similar things that you're talking to. You know, what are all of the things that could go wrong? What are all the things that could go right? But I mean, if I know what could go wrong, then I don't need to fear it because I can navigate. So
yeah. And you can be
totally
prepared.
Agree.
You could, once again, if I'm walking into a shitstorm, I want to know which way the wind's blowing. From an actionable standpoint, the one starting out is identifying the fear. What are you afraid of? Sissy. Just the way it sounded like. Really figuring out like what are the top 4 things that are holding you back? What are you afraid of? When you look at that and you can pull the emotional piece out of that, that becomes just huge. That ties into that worst case scenario. The worst case scenario, look at it for 2 reasons. A, what is the absolute worst thing that happens? Well, our business melts down to the ground.
Yeah.
Well, what's the probability of that happening? Probably slim to none. What is the worst probable case? Is it uncomfortable? Sure. Is it survivable? Yeah. What are some other actionable pieces from your end?
So I would say creating a plan. I mean, really working on developing that specific plan to address the fear, breaking it down into small, manageable steps. I know that my fear oftentimes as a business owner, I'm homeless at least once a week, depending on like what's going, like that's where my spiral will go to. And I think part of it too is acknowledging it with other people. Because when you say, hey, I've got this fear, and they're like, yeah, I do half the time too. You're like, wait a second. Okay, I'm not abnormal.
Nope.
I don't have a problem here. And I will say too about, communicating with your team. So talking to your team about what's making you anxious, and then also talking to your team about, it's okay to fail. Because if your team is scared to fail, they will never truly innovate.
Nope.
They'll only perform. And so it's really important. You can't build resilience if people believe that mistakes are career ending. And so communicating with your team, I think is one of the biggest points that you can make, especially if you have people.
Yeah, the take action piece on that too is just a huge. I mean, make sure you overcome that fear, confront it. There's been times where I've lost jobs. Oh my God, this is the end. The first time it happened to me, I'm like,
my life is over.
Right. My life is over.
Sun came up next day.
And I had a 2-month vacation and then found a really great job after that. And I was like, oh, well, that was pretty cool. So yeah, taking that action is a great way to overcome that fear. What, like I said, as you look into so many businesses, what is the single biggest sign where you walk through the door and you look around, you're like, oh, this guy is a fraidy cat.
Yeah. Over rationalization. Because fear disguises itself as logic. So we say, we're not ready yet. We can't do that. We're not ready. We don't have that skill set. We're going to stabilize before we try something new. And what that is you're often avoiding that vulnerability. So fear-based leadership whispers that taking a risk could expose you. And in doing so, it limits growth because it's really about, again, that fear of failure. So I'm just going to over-rationalize why we can't do it.
Yeah.
We can't. We can't. I appreciate that feedback. That's a really great idea. We'll maybe look at that next year in our strategic plan.
We're going to table that for now.
Put a pin in it.
Should we do an episode on corporate lingo?
Yes. I love it.
That'll be the episode where I put a Josh-shaped hole in that wall.
All right. So what's a simple tool or method a business owner can use to get a clear picture of what their fears actually are?
Rationalizing it, not over-rationalizing it, rationalize it. Look at the probabilities of things. Like spend time when you're not in mode.
Yeah.
Go in, be like, hey, look, I'm relaxed. What is this? What's the probability of this? Okay, great. What's this? What's the probability of this? Look at it rationally, not over-rationalizing like, well, we can't do this. I mean, I love how you said we can't do the thing because of the thing and the thing and the thing and the thing. That's over-rationalization.
Absolutely
If you say, look, there's like a 5% chance this bad thing happens. Okay, great. Go ahead and do it.
That's entrepreneurship.
100%. And deciding too what you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
If you're only like, if death is a thing, I guess I would say is if there's 100 M&Ms and one of them is poisoned, I'm probably not going to eat the M&Ms. But in many other cases, if there is a 1% chance something bad happens in my business, I'm probably going to take that chance.
Yeah.
I'm not going to eat the M&M. So decide where that percentage is and go from there. To me, the other thing that I would say with that is bring other people in.
Yeah.
Ask a coach, ask a friend, ask an employee, like, hey, what do you think the odds are of the bomb happening if we do this? They're going to have a really good idea. They're probably going to have a better idea than you will.
Well, I'd say finding a group of people, whether they're business owners or it's a coach or it's just someone else that knows you and can have that transparency and willingness to say, are you just freaking out? Like, what are you really afraid of?
You just need a Xanax.
Well, it's a good question.
No, it very much is, because it is that what's tough is, as business owners, it is tough to stretch yourself to say, what am I actually afraid of? Sometimes you need to sit across the table from someone with a couple of microphones and headphones on and talk it out over the period of 36, 34 minutes.
It's a good time.
To everyone that is ready to face their fears head on, go ahead and call Chrissy. She will help guide you through those.
I'm excited.
I will probably make them worse for you. We would love for you to go visit businessfixpodcast.com if you would like to have us talk about culture, any one of those things, or if you just have a question. We would love for you to go onto the website and give us a topic, because we've got a list of topics, but I'm really curious as to what people want to hear about.
Yes.
We've done some of those before, and they've turned out to be really great suggestions. Review, subscription, all those other stuff, the comments, any of that, we would always appreciate. Next week, personal social media.
Oh boy.
Right. Right.
That's a loaded topic in so many ways.
It is. This is one that I definitely think people are going to want to tune into, especially, I think, from an HR perspective.
Yeah.
You're going to have some good information. And especially as this younger generation comes up, so much of it's there. And they do not always realize who has access. We've got all sorts of stuff to talk about.
Be a good time.
Yes. Do me a favor. Take care of yourself. If you can, take care of someone else too. We will see you very, very soon.